Hey now, today I'm going to show you a process I like to use when I'm trying to acquire yeast from a smack pack in order to get it onto agar wort slant to be able to use in the future. It's really quite an easy process, doesn't require a whole lot of tools, and if you've got a yeast lab set up, this is a pretty slick way to get yeast and just have it on hand basically forever. So let me show you what you need. So first off, what you need is a smack pack of yeast. What I've got here is Wyeast 1450, Denny's favorite. Absolutely love this particular yeast strain. One of the agar wort slants I've got of this seemed to dry out a little bit prematurely. Wasn't quite 100% confident in that yeast strain, so I'm going to be replacing it. So that's step one, and you can see here that I've got it. It's already inflated. I smacked it a few hours ago and it's been sitting out. The majority of this yeast is going to be going into this flask here. I'm brewing 10 gallons of American Amber Ale today, and I plan on using that yeast. Yeah, big starter for a couple of carboys of that. Other than that, what you need is an inoculation loop. I've got this currently sitting in some isopropyl alcohol, just to help sterilize it. It's a good place to put it when it's actually not in use. I've got a Bunsen burner and a little propane tank there. That's going to be creating the updraft as well as allowing me to sterilize my loop and the rims of my vials. And then I've got a few agar wort slants here set up. I want one and I'm giving another one to a friend of mine, so I'm going to have 3 of these just in case for some reason one of them is a little lackluster. I've got a dust mask because anytime I'm working with yeast like this, I wear a dust mask just to help prevent you know, accidentally breathing out into what I'm working with. I used to just hold my breath for that, and wow, that was a pain in the butt. So I realized a mask was the way to go. I've got scissors to cut open the smack pack, and then of course Star Sand. I'm going to spray everything down here, including this bag and the scissors, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, so everything here is has been soaking with Star Sand. I just find with the scissors, if I flame them a little bit, the Star Sand that's on them kind of pools up and is a little easier to get rid of. There we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead, shake this up just a little bit. I'm going to cut just a little access point here. I have this entire table all Star Sand as well. Now, just taking my loop, I'm going to flame it here quickly just to sterilize it. This is a lot quicker. I used to use an alcohol lamp for this, and wow, this Bunsen burner is considerably quicker. So this is really quite hot. This updraft is preventing anything from getting into this smack pack. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to stick this down into here and ensure that I get some of the yeast on this loop. I'm going to set it over here so it's out of the way, and then just very carefully flame the rim of the vial. I'm going to set it aside so I know which one it is. Now, just to make sure I've got yeast on every one, there's a very good chance that this would work just as it is, but I'm going to go ahead and do this for each of the vials. I want to make sure I've got a decent amount of yeast on here. Now, I am planning on re-slanting all of my yeast strains here in the next month or so. So even if this winds up being considerably more yeast on here than I actually need, that's not the end of the world, because I'm going to be re-slanting it anyway. So I'm just going to do this last one here quickly and just kind of wiggling it up along there and good to go. All right, so I've got all 3 of these done. Now I'm just going to quickly actually get this yeast into here, which is what I need for today. So I'm just going to flame the edge of this quickly. Try not to smash my expensive flask. And then pour the yeast in. And this starter I'm going to let go for maybe 12 hours or so, just until it's all fully grown up. Perfect. All right. There we go. So, as you can see, I've got these going here, and I'm going to put them in my incubator at 80 Fahrenheit and just let them go for a day or 2 until I see some growth. So here are the vials just sitting in the incubator. Like I said, a day or 2, and hopefully they should be ready to go. All right, so it has been a couple of days since I originally slanted these. So I'm just gonna bring them over here and take a little peek. Now, as you can see here, there's definitely some growth on that slant, which is great. All of them actually. This one has quite a bit. And this would be like horrible form to just leave it like this because there's just way too much yeast going on in here. So that's going to get taken care of. That one's, yeah, down at the bottom there, you can see there's a huge glob, which would be an issue because all of that yeast there is just going to go right through any of those nutrients in that wort pretty quickly. However, I am going to be re-slanting these right away when I go ahead and do all the rest of my slants. So again, not a huge deal. Fortunately, all three of them took off, so I've got lots of yeast to kind of be picky about when I go to slant some fresh slants. For now though, so by the way, that whole time I also had these lids just slightly loosened, so any gas production due to yeast activity could have just gotten out of there. So I'm going to leave these lids just like that, and I'm going to toss these into my yeast fridge for a day or so just so that they can chill down. Then I can tape them up and store them until I'm ready to re-slant. So after a day in the fridge, I went ahead and just threw some vinyl tape on here just to help seal it up a little bit better and help prevent it drying out. Even though it's only going to be in here for a few weeks, at which point I'll be re-slanting it with all the rest of my slants anyway, which again is why having this massive blob in here is not a big deal. That would be very inappropriate form for any sort of long-term storage. But it was okay because I was just trying to harvest from that smack pack. So yeah, as you can see, a pretty easy way to increase your stock if you are attempting to create a bit of a yeast lab. And yeah, good way to get started at it. So there you go. Till next time, keep it at 11.